Beginning of battle. Okay. Hopefully battle against someone else, not within our marriage. I woke up in the morning with a strange uneasiness. Even though I slept peacefully for a few days after that night when I held hands with Esta, now I felt like I was having a bad dream. Rubbing my sleepy eyes, I sat up. I looked around the room and realized what the strange feeling was. He hasn't come back yet. Usually when I wake up in the morning, Esta is either awake already or has come home from a long night's work. This was the first time I saw no sign of him returning at all. Maybe he was so busy that he just went on to work? I got out of bed and got dressed while thinking about several possibilities. I kept my ears open, hoping to hear him come home. But I didn't hear those quiet footsteps at all. Aww. Maybe I'll peek into his workplace later. Esta's hand was injured a few days ago. He's Noel's assistant, so I don't think he'll be injured so many times, but I'm worried that he'll be put in the same situation again. Oh yeah, I can go see Ruzi and get some wound medicine. I'm sure Esta got it treated right away, but the least I can do is offer first aid. I don't think it was his blood, but, sure. I slightly nodded to myself and stood up. As I went to the door, full of motivation to act right away, I was surprised by the door opening from outside. Oh, welcome. The words I was about to say turned into a scream. The sight that awaited me behind the door made me stop thinking and breathing. Esta!
I'm home. I'm back.
Esta was standing there with parts of his clothes soaked in red. Dude, what happened to you? Did you actually get hurt? Dang, who are you going up against that would hurt you? You're like Jason Bourne, man. I didn't think anything could touch you. Perhaps unable to stand on his own, he's supported by Soon. Good man, Soon. The smell of blood wafted through the air, and I instantly realized the depth of the wound. Why? How did you... Esta smiled wryly at my dismayed voice. He shrugged his shoulders in an unusually mischievous manner. This is not the time to be mischievous. And said to Soon next to him.
See? What did I say? I wanted to change clothes because my wife would be surprised. I'll bring a change of clothes later. Please rest, Mr. Esta.
Half ignoring the words of Esta, Soon quickly but carefully carried Esta to the bed. This was also unusual. This is not like Soon, who was always too serious about Esta's questions. Soon, Esta is...
Don't worry about me. I just took a tumble and struck my entire body.
Ah, that is quite the tumble, sir. I want to know how a tumble can result in wounds all over the body. Apart from bruises, he has very obvious cut wounds. Sheesh. The discomfort I had been feeling for several days swelled up and pressed down on my chest in a way I could not ignore. Tell me, Esta, what really happened?
Nothing. I just fell.
Esta's eyes were closed, as if refusing to accept any of this. Seeing this, I realized that although he said it was nothing, the truth was different. His wounds were so painful that Esta couldn't hide it by his willpower alone. Why won't you tell me, Esta? I thought we had developed a deep, trusting relationship, but I felt the most crucial parts were still hidden from me. But given Esta's wounded state, I couldn't really interrogate him, so I'm gonna go find Soon instead. As I bit my lip through gritted teeth, Soon softly called out to me from behind. Yes?
Madam, let us give Mr. Esta some rest. That's what he needs the most right now.
Right. I was only half convinced, but Soon was right. I suppressed my urge to cling to his tattered clothing and stroked Esta's hand. He seemed to have fallen asleep. His hand had only a few scars, which only made me sadder. Soon, I want you to answer honestly. I went out into the corridor with Soon, and as we entered into a secluded corner, I called out to him as he was ahead of me. Soon's expression was even stiffer than usual as he turned around, perhaps sensing the firmness in my voice.
What is it?
Did Esta... The words got stuck in my throat as I tried to ask. Half wanting to know and half not wanting to know, I pushed my voice out. What kind of work is Esta doing to end up like this? And sometimes I smell blood from you, too. You're just as injured, aren't you? Maybe... Are you doing work aside from assisting Noel? Oh, that's interesting. Is she saying, like, they're working for someone else as well? Or for themselves? Not necessarily. Or is she just saying, like, assisting Noel is, like, the stuff that they can show to the public, and then there's, like, assisting Noel from the shadows kind of stuff. Could be either. Please answer. What kind of dangerous work are you?
Madam... Actually, you do know, don't you?
My final question was drowned by Soon's answer. I took a short breath and stood in front of Soon, who was even more expressionless than usual. What do you mean?
Madam, you're wise. You know the truth, but you're scared to admit it, so you're asking me.
My fingertips twitched. My throat dried up and my heart was racing so quickly that I could feel it. So, let's say that my guess is correct. Soon, would you confirm it?
I could not. If I did, the person who comes to meet Mr. Esta tomorrow morning would not be me.
Ooh, dang. I couldn't ask why. During the momentary silence, I tried to remember each of the uncomfortable feelings I had felt in order to sort out my own feelings. As I came to the final memory, I could finally take a decent breath. Thank you.
Why are you thanking me?
You can't tell me anything, but you have brought Esta back here in this state. Esta probably told you to take him somewhere else so that I wouldn't find out. But you ignored that order and brought him here because you wanted me to know. And even now, you're taking a risk talking to me. Yes, he is in danger even now. The danger that his very existence could be erased by their master, the one who gives him and Esta orders. Noel. Okay, that's what she meant by assisting, not the public-facing stuff, the murderizing and the shadow stuff. Esta has been stained with blood in Noel's place, in order to protect the king's authority, as he has many enemies. Maybe not only Esta, but all of his subordinates are soldiers to help Noel achieve his goals. But they are not ordinary soldiers, but people who live in the darkness, gathered for the purpose of doing the kind of work that cannot be known to others. You're kind, just like Esta.
If you feel that way, I may have been inspired by you, just like Mr. Esta.
Aw, Soon, I love you. You're so sweet. With a bitter smile, Soon's expression was more human than any I'd ever seen from him. That smile made me feel a tightening in my chest. Did you go through all of this trouble to tell me there's something urgent? When I asked him, he looked up at the clear blue sky with a somewhat distant look.
For example, and this is just an example,
the words that came out after this preamble were a stark contrast to the refreshing blue sky.
suppose I'm ordered to kill a newborn baby in front of me for the sake of the king. I could do that without changing my complexion. We have been educated not to feel guilt, compassion, or sadness. If we do, we will lose our way, and that would be fatal. Madam, I'm sure you understand everything now.
Esta's body, covered in scars, appeared behind my eyelids. Without being told the whole story, I understood the consequences of what had happened to Esta. I wonder if my desire to save Esta would take your boss away from you.
Either way, Mr. Esta cannot live in the darkness for much longer. Things will end soon.
End. Just imagining what that meant brought tears to my eyes.
Madam, I hope you do not look down on us.
I'm not noble enough to look down on anyone. I'll be honest, it's frightening. I'm curious what her however will be. I don't really like how that one is phrased. It's like, if I was more noble, I could look down on you, but as I am but a commoner. Hey, Esta knows, despite being asleep. Honestly, it's frightening. However, that doesn't mean I'm scared of you and Esta.
Meaning?
Noel is a ruthless person, but he's also a rational person who hates unnecessary things. Noel probably brought you together because otherwise he wouldn't be able to reflect Toya's desire to protect the women. In this world, denouncing you would be telling the kidnapped Roos women to suffer in misery. So it's not you that scares me. It's the orders that move you. However, I cannot condone what you're doing. I know that clean politics alone won't work, but I'm sorry. It's not fair for me to be so non-committal.
No. It's because of who you are that I thought I'd entrust things to you.
Entrust?
This way of saying it might sound presumptuous, but I would like to entrust Mr. Esta's future to you.
You're fond of Esta, aren't you?
Madam, I'm sure you already understand, but Mr. Esta is really a very kind person, even if he himself doesn't realize that. I cannot count how many times he's saved lives, including my own. Therefore, I want him to live, even if death is one of the roles given to us.
It's strange that dying would be one of your jobs.
That's the education we received, and it's our common sense. So we do not grieve when any of our people die. We live only for the king, for we are merely his pawns.
The moment Soon told me this, I remembered the cold smile of the man. That man, more beautiful and more merciless than the devil himself, is probably still at his desk contemplating his cruel orders. I don't know if he contemplates his orders all that much, honestly. What if I could stop the hand that was moving the pawns?
That's a interesting dream. At least that's what I might have said before. However, for some reason I don't feel like saying that to you. I feel like you have the power to make everything possible. My apologies for such an intrusive, selfish expectation.
I smiled wryly at the back of Soon's head as he bowed. With all the strength I could muster, I turned on my heel and opened my mouth to inspire myself. Rather, I'd like to thank you. I like people having expectations of me.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going. In a certain sense, to the most terrifying place in this castle. You're going into the beast's lair? Well. No, shut your mouth. What is she going to say to this guy to change things, man? I believe in her too. I do believe in Naala and her uncanny abilities to influence these boys, but my goodness. Ooh, I don't envy her in this moment. Here we go. Well, a rare bird has come in today. Seems like she might sing me a nice song. I almost grimaced at the sarcasm as soon as I entered the door. Or did I say door or room? Hold on. That is a room, not a door. Cool. I forced a smile and walked up to Noel, who didn't bother making eye contact with me. Even standing in front of his desk, Noel didn't stop writing. Today, Esta came home all messed up. Do you know what happened to him? I wonder.
I heard he took a nasty fall.
I want to pinch his lying mouth shut. It would be great if I could do that, but anger doesn't work on Noel. I clenched my fists and suppressed the urge. I'm here to negotiate, and if I get angry, I lose. After seeing him, I thought, you're making him do dangerous jobs, aren't you? For example, things that can't be said out loud. I was expecting a long battle, thinking he'd blow me off, but his next words caused my eyes to widen.
Even if that is true, do you have the right to complain about it, I wonder? He is my subordinate, so I can use him however I wish.
You admit it?
If you want to denounce me, feel free to do so. However, if you do, I doubt he would be able to see the sunrise tomorrow.
That's a rather cheap threat from you.
It's an easy explanation, one that even a bird can understand.
The bird-themed insults actually serve to calm me down. Why is he so focused on this bird thing? I spoke in a cool voice that didn't seem to belong to me. If Esta dies, you'll be in trouble.
Yes, it will be problematic. He is an excellent assistant. I may become irritated with his replacement.
In other words, he's replaceable. What do you think a human life is worth?
Of course, I believe that a human life is precious. Would you be satisfied if I said that? Unfortunately for me, the lives of humans are no different than the lives of birds. Insects are eaten by birds, which are eaten by other larger beasts, which are eaten by us. The same thing is happening within the category of human beings. After all, the only things in this world are those that use and those that are used. Saying this, I'm sure a righteous person such as yourself will point your finger at me as a cruel person.
Even while he spoke so fluently, Noel's writing hand still kept moving. The multitasking on this guy. Apparently, he can think simultaneously about what he's going to say and what he's going to write, even if they're completely different things. Certainly, if he has such a unique ability, he can stay on the side of what he calls those that use. But if such an excessive intelligence as his only helps to look down on people, then I don't need that kind of power. No. Rather, I think you're a lucky person.
Oh, really?
The movement of the brushstrokes that spelled out the word slowed down just a bit. I'm sure there's no deep sadness or disappointment in you, because you only think of such things as schemes and plans. You are lucky in your own way. But that's so pathetic. I pronounced the pathetic part very deliberately. I'm not such a noble person who deserves to pity people, but for now I pretended to pity him from the bottom of my heart. Ooh, you'll hate that. I can feel the eyebrow twitch on him from here. Can't see his face, but I just know that eyebrow twitch is happening.
Pathetic.
His brush's movement slowed down a bit again. Yes. We feel joy because we feel sadness. You, having eliminated one of them, have no joy to make your heart tremble and your tears flow. That's why I pity you, Noel.
Oh, really?
Only then did Noel's hand stop moving completely. He raised his beautiful face, a flame of quiet anger flaring in the depths of his icy eyes.
As expected from a woman who would give herself up in place of her friend, your words aren't quite ordinary. I'm almost moved to tears by the depth of your compassion that doesn't even fear death.
Noel and his high self-esteem. He must be so angry over being pitied by a girl like me that he wants to kill me. Finally. She's like, finally I got his attention. Now that he wants to kill me. There's no point in all of this if he simply blows me off. I had to make him take me seriously, even if he got pissed off in the process. Oh, I'm so happy that you heard me properly, I could cry. I thought that everything I said just sounded like a bird chirping to you, so I thought I might get a real bird and see how that would go.
Oh no, rather you are quite a wonderful woman. I feel a twisting not just in my chest, but in my gut as well.
I'm honored to be praised. Noel stared at me silently for a few seconds, then stood up after a light sigh. He slowly approached and went behind me.
You're kind enough to pity me, so of course you would be kind enough to help me out.
The only time I've ever heard anyone sound condescending when they're being modest is when I'm talking to Noel. The air of his anger is too heavy for me to look back. Still, I was determined and stubborn. If a bird can be of use to you, I'd be happy to help.
That's very encouraging. I happen to have a bit of a problem at the moment.
I felt Noel take one step closer. The sound of his breathing behind my ear scared me and I wanted to run away. Why so close? However, I endured it and asked, "What kind of problem?"
As you know, there are many people in this country who do not agree with His Majesty's intentions. Chief among them is the Minister Orta.
Oh God, you're gonna make me do this again? What do you do when I'm not around to help you with Orta?
He is a nobleman with a lineage second only to that of the royal family, and his influence over those around him sometimes surpasses even mine.
That's quite a thorn in your side.
Yes. I would like to use Esta there, but it would be a shame to lose all that influence that he has. Don't you think he would be a great asset to us if he were on our side?
Noel is not the kind of man to ask a woman to make political decisions for him. This is an order in the form of a question. Do you think I, a mere woman, can persuade the minister?
Oh, I'm quite happy. You see me as a person kind enough to accept an unconditional transaction. If there is something you want, you should inform me. If you bring me a written oath from the minister, I shall grant you what you want.
It always comes down to these deals with you, eh? That wish. Could it be something like no longer making Esta do dirty work or freeing the women?
Yes, whatever you want.
He thinks I can't do it. It's frustrating, but if I can get that pledge, the advantage will be mine. If I can win this bet, I can save both Esta and the women. He will keep his word. We do know this, at least. How do I know that you won't break your promise? Immediately after saying that, his cool fingers touched the back of my neck. Each of his fingers traced my bones, came under my chin, and softly squeezed my neck. Oh, this is fine. Yeah, this is totally fine.
Please be reassured. I absolutely detest breaking promises, or having them broken.
I couldn't see his face, but I could tell by the intensity of the emotion in his voice that he was telling the truth. She is way more chill about having his fingers around her neck than I would be in this moment. Here in the situation where, if he were so inclined, Noel could kill me in a heartbeat, I smiled. Then, we have a deal. Noel fell silent for a moment. Maybe he could tell that I was smiling. Was he disappointed because I wasn't scared? Actually, I was quite frightened, so Noel won there. You hide it well, girl. Noel? It didn't hurt, but I did not like being held by the neck for an extended period of time. You don't say. I can't imagine why not. I called out to him to let me go, and I heard his voice, which sounded surprisingly cheerful.
Fascinating. I had no idea that you were such an interesting person.
The moment he told me, I felt a strange chill and goosebumps. This was the first time in my life I wanted to run away from someone being interested in me. That's great. Just double checking. you when we talked earlier, right? That was the thing? Yes? No? You're not interested in women, right?
You misunderstand me.
How?
I have no interest in ordinary women.
He thoughtfully cut off the words, and his lips came closer and snatched at my ear. Ah! The next words he whispered were venomous and sweet.
However, a strong-willed woman like you is quite irresistible, and I want to bring you to your knees.
Somehow I felt a force pushing me towards the bed. Whoa! 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 Hang on! Noel, look, I know you feel the pushing of you off the throne for number one here, but this is not the way to worm your way back into the throne for number one on my list, okay? Look, you could take some pointers from Esta. Maybe why don't you do that instead of this? Oh my goodness, I'm so red right now. This guy has zero chill. My hair stood on end at once. I couldn't take it anymore and escaped from Noel's arm. Then we have a deal. Even though I glared at him as hard as I could, Noel's smile conversely deepened. With a gesture reminiscent of a gentle teacher, he nodded loosely.
Yes, I shall be expecting good things from you.
Excuse me. Expectations. But there was a huge difference between the expectation of Soon and that of Noel. I left Noel's room sticking my tongue out at him, internally, of course. As you should, Queen! As you should! That's amazing. Oh god. I really do still love Naala and Noel. I gotta say. They're just so at each other. I don't know. But Esta, you are sweet bean. I love you. I will protect you from the snake that is Noel. Don't you worry. You're gonna be safe with me this time.
Persuade Minister Orta.
Yes, and if I can do that, Noel has promised to let the women go. When Esta woke up, I explained things to him, leaving some things out. I did notice you didn't mention that he wouldn't have to do dirty work anymore. I didn't tell him that his release was intended as a prize for victory. If Esta knew this was for his sake, he'd certainly stop me. Yeah.
Minister Orta is a man who acts in accordance with his own convictions. He is not moved by the words of others.
I know this is a difficult deal, but I have to do it in order to free everyone.
I see. You and all of the Roos women can go back to your home country.
I looked at Esta with strong determination in my eyes, as Esta's eyes seemed to waver slightly. Esta smiled before I thought about what that means. He doesn't want you to go, but also he does want you to go to be happy.
I pray that your wish will come true as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll do my best. And I will set my beloved one free. He's your beloved one? Stop, my heart.